All right, welcome back. Today we're going to deconstruct a really interesting new blueprint for what college could look like. It's called the SNS framework. And honestly, it's a vision for higher ed that's been built from scratch, specifically for the age of AI. This could be a glimpse into the future of education.
So let's just start with the big question, and I want you to really think about this for a second. How would you redesign college for today's world, for the AI era? Seriously, what skills would you prioritize? What would the day-to-day experience even feel like for a student?
Okay, it's a massive challenge, right? Well, it turns out one college in India has not only developed an answer, they've actually patented it. They've built their whole curriculum around this one core idea: design thinking. And the goal? Well, it's all about creating a generation of students who are ready for what's next.
So you're probably wondering, how does this all work? To really get it, we need to start at the foundation. Think of it like the core operating system of a computer. It's the fundamental philosophy that powers everything else they do.
Okay, so at the very heart of this model is something they call the 3P culture. It sounds simple, but it's actually pretty profound. It's all built on 3 key ideas. First, purpose, making sure that what you're learning actually feels meaningful. Then there's process, which is about creating structured, hands-on experiences. And finally, people, fostering a really collaborative, student-first environment.
And then, layered on top of that culture, you have what they call the 3 competency circles. This really shows you how they think about a student's development. See, for them, it's not just about knowledge, the core concepts. It's just as much about building practical, industry-ready skills. And maybe most importantly, it's about fostering the right attitude. That's the mindset you need to actually innovate.
All right, so that's the big picture philosophy. But, ideas are one thing. How do you actually make that a reality on a college campus? Well, that's where their 5 structural pillars come into play.
Think of these 5 pillars as the actual engines that make the whole system run. You've got dedicated centers for learning and teaching and another for creativity. Then there's a whole pillar focused on skill and career development. And they've also built out 2 more really important ones, one for industry partnerships and another for social responsibility initiatives. Each one of these is designed to support a key part of that student journey.
Okay, I know this all sounds a bit abstract. Pillars, circles, philosophies, but here's the real question. So what? What does this all actually mean for a student on the ground walking around campus day to day? Why should you care?
Well, it means learning isn't something that's just stuck inside a classroom. It spills out into creative labs and workshops. It means your education is directly tied to the real world, with actual industry visits and partnerships. Your development isn't just academic. It includes things like community service. And, this is a big one, career prep isn't something you cram in at the end. It's woven into your experience from the very first day. Okay, now we get to the really cool part, the tech that holds all this together. Let's talk about the AI Power Toolkit that both students and faculty are using to bring this whole vision to life. And this is where you can see a massive difference from the old way of doing things. In a traditional college model, a lot of stuff is pretty static, right? The curriculum, the tests, but with the SNS Gen AI framework, everything becomes dynamic. We're talking course content, assessments, even a student's personal roadmap. It's all customized using AI. It's a total rejection of that one-size-fits-all model of education. So what does a student actually get their hands on? What's in their toolkit? Well, for starters, every single student gets a step-by-step design thinking playbook. They work on Gen AI projects that are actually inspired by the model used at Y-Combinator. Their growth is tracked using OKRs. Yep, the same goal-setting framework that Google and other Silicon Valley companies use. Oh, and along the way, they're earning real-world global certifications from companies like AWS and Azure.
Okay, so we've talked about the culture, the structural pillars, the AI tools, but you have to realize all these different pieces are being aimed at one single, incredibly ambitious target. This is the final piece of the puzzle. This is their mission.
And it all boils down to this one number.
1,000. That's it. Their mission is to help launch 1,000 student-led startups in just 10 years. And that is the key to understanding everything. The entire system isn't just built to give out degrees, it's built to be a startup incubator.
And that incubator is designed to do one thing and one thing only, to completely transform a student's identity. The whole point isn't just to teach them stuff, it's to turn them from passive learners into active innovators and entrepreneurs. Literally every part of this framework we've talked about is there to make that happen.
Which leaves us with one final really big question.
When you see a system like this, where the culture, the structure, and the technology are all working together with the single goal of creating innovators, you just have to wonder, is this the new standard for what higher education should be?